fine. And in the previous video, I discussed about how I think and how I plan for the flow when I am given a scenario. In this video, I want to show you how I did the flow and explain to you what I did in the Salesforce flow. If you haven't watched the previous video, please do watch that video. In that I explain how my thought process and how I did that. So let's go ahead and see the scenario. It's an after-school education non-profit organization. In this organization, parents enroll their children into the programs and as a guest user, like without using the Experience Cloud facilities of signing in. They wanted a free option where the parent is mentioning their first name, last name, and the email ID. They want to see all the child records of their children's record that they have enrolled in their name. So that's the scenario. So let's go ahead and see how I did that in the flow. So in this program, in this flow, I will first show you how I did it and how it works so that you can get an idea. So here I'm mentioning the email ID which I have given, and you can see the records. These are the 2 child records which is connected to me in my name. So I choose one of them and I can make changes whatever I want to. And just update them. And now it's asking whether you want to make changes to another child record or I have completed the update. If I click I have completed the update, the flow gets over here. If, say for example, I click the other one, it goes back to the record. So I can show you again how that works. You can see the updation is done, and if I want to click this and then next, if I want to make changes, I can select one of the record and then make changes to that record, and I can complete it. So that's how I did the flow. So let's go ahead and see what are the elements. So the first one is the screen where you get the record details from the client, where you take the parent's first name and last name and the email ID. And then here I'm getting the parent record, parent's contact record based on the information given by the parent. So here I get all the informations and I get the only one record because I just need one record for the information which is given. After that, what I'm doing is getting the relationship. So if you see in the previous video, I showed you how this connection works, and both are contacts that you need. Both our parents and child contacts is in the same object, that is contacts, but how they are connected is with the object relationship. So this is the object that connects between these data. So I am getting that record first so that I can get the child records, the child's contact records. So I'm getting all the relationship records where the type of relationship is either daughter, son, child, or mother, father, or parent. The reason why I have taken all of this is it depends on which side you are creating the relationship. So say for example, sometimes you create the relationship from the child side, you will mention as mother, so the type of the relationship will be mother. So that's the reason I have gone and taken all the record type, the type of relationship here, and choosing the record ID, which is the parent record ID. And once I have all the relationship here, you have to make sure you get all the records, because you need all the relationship so that you can get all the child records. So I'm getting all the records here. And then what I'm doing is, in order to get the child ID, I am taking them through a loop. And by taking them through the loop, I can get all the child records and get the information based on that. So here, what I did is, I took the relationship record, send them through the loop, and then here I created a collection variable and assigned adding the child record the contact ID to the collection variable. So here you can see that the related contact ID, the contact ID is there and the related contact ID is there. So I'm doing the related contact ID into a collection variable. So let's see how I created the collection variable. If you're new to Salesforce Flow, you go to create a new resource, and when you create a new resource, you can choose the variable. I can show you how I did it. Create a new resource, choose variable, write the name, and then in data type I use text, and I make sure to click allow multiple values. So if when you click allow multiple values, it becomes a collection variable. You can add multiple values to it. So that's how I did that, and I use the collection variable to get all the ID. Now after that, once it exits the loop, after all the records are done, in the get record, what I did is, whatever ID is in the collection variable, I need the entire record of that one. So there are four, say for example, in our case, there were 2 child records. So there in the child record ID collection variable, there are 2 ID in there. So what I'm doing is, I'm getting all the contact records where ID is in this collection variable. So make sure you click all records so that you get all the records here, and here you get all the child records. Now in this screen, using a data table in the components, if you go to data table, you can drag and drop, and in the using the data table, I am showing the results. Using the get record, I have got all the child records in there, and I am showing those records here. So how I did that is, in this I am putting the source collection as the get child contact record. I'm putting that here, and in the columns I mention which are the columns I need. And in the configure row, you have 2 options. You can have the contact select, have the user select multiple records or single records. In our instance, we need one record to be chosen so that they can edit one record at a time. So that's the reason I have chosen single. And in next page, what I did is, I show them all the information that they wanted, and to update, like any personal details they wanted to update, I show them, and using the first selected. So how I do that is, you can see here, if you go down, if you type the data table name, what you have given, you can get it. So here the children, that's the name I give for the data table. You click that, you can see first selected row. So that's the row that you selected. So you can select that, and you can give any value that you want to give. So say for example, here the first name. So I can choose the first name and you can show the value there. So whatever is in our system, in our records, that will show up here. I've done that for all of them. Even the address I have done, you can see I have like country value, city value, the postal code, everything. I show all the value here so that the parent will know what is in our records, and if they want to edit it, they can edit that. So that's what is done here. And in this place, what we have done is we are updating all the information. Even though the parent hasn't done any changes, we are updating it here so that the values are up to date. So just choosing the column value, the field values, we are updating that here. And in the more screen, what I did was I have a radio button selection where I have two values. One of them, whichever they choose, it will go to the corresponding choice. So I have action here where if they want to change another record, if that is the case, it goes to a path, and if it is not, then the completed path. So the completed means it will stop the flow. If they want to change one more record, you can see it's going to the get record. So that the reason why we are going to the get record is so that the updated information shows up. You can connect it to here, child record information, but what happens is it will display the old values. So in order to see the updated value for the child, you have to connect it here so that the record will trigger again and collect all the information and then show the value again. And I have done fault path everywhere and connected it to the error screen, which will show an error. We couldn't find any records, or please contact the information. Just some error messages, whichever your requirement is, your client requires. So that's what I have done with the flow. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to explain it to you. Thank you for watching the video. Have a good day.